Robert, you said there was a man out here called Tramore.
Tramore, that's what they nicknamed him. I think the fellas put the nickname on him was Wild Coffee and Dave, because they were like, he used to live down there a lot, and he came from Tramore. And old Jimmy, yes boy, he lived in Little Barasway. He was a hard-working poor old man, but in the summertime, when he used to kill the sheep and get mutton and that, and he put it in a bag. And the roads weren't like us out here that time, there was no traffic out here. I remember he'd walk out the shore with the meat in a bag. No such thing as weighing it. He'd go in and lay the bag on the floor, and he'd ask to say, want a big piece or a small piece? That's what he's saying. Then you paid him whatever you had. And he walked St. Bride's with the bag on his back, an old brim bag with the mutton in it, and the flies chasing them, and the flies eating at the bag and going out, but no one minded that. And then he'd get drunk at St. Bride's, and he'd sing the whole ways back to Little Barasway again. He'd go into Mr. George's over, he used to call him Alice and George, and they had great respect for him. He'd go in there and he'd sing for a day or two, and then he'd go into grandfather's, Robert McGrath, and he'd sing there for a day or two. Oh, he was a hard tick when he'd get drunk. He'd get up on the floor, he'd go marrying people and all that. He was an entertainer. And he lived to be an old man. But his sons were only dead about 8 or 10 years, a couple of them. He was a countryman, he wasn't a fisherman. Tremor was a countryman, he lived in the country. In fact, I'm the only white man that knows where his camp is to. Me and Gordon found it in there when we were young fellas. And I brought home his milk bottle, and there was 2 traps hanging up behind it. I said, Gordon, there'll never be another man back here. I said, I'm bringing home his 2 traps. And I brought home his 2 traps hanging up in the shed. And I told Tommy about him before he died. I brought him in, showed him to Tommy, and showed him his milk bottle. You were talking about him, he was only a little small man, he wasn't as big as me. When the Yanks come to our gents at that time, there was no such thing as plastic pipe in that. The great big old pipe, inch thick, in 4-foot lengths, and he spelt that about 8 or 10 mile in the country on his back, the hot time of the summer. He had no stove in there, a little hurt, that's all he had there, and the smoke would go up that. He was a hard man.
What was his full name?
What was it? Jimmy Foley, I don't know what his middle name was.
Jimmy Foley.
Jimmy Foley from Little Barasway.
And you said that he wasn't a fisherman, he was a countryman.
No, he wasn't a fisherman. He was a countryman, lived in the country, and killing no cattle and going around with them and that kind, selling them out of the bag. There was no such thing as ounces, never weighed nothing. Just he knew the size of what you wanted. And I can see him over yet bind off him over there. Poor man.
And he came from Tremor?
He came from Tremor. Yeah, and I think it's Wall and Dave put the nickname on him, Tremor. That's what he always called. And after he went by Tremor, when he come out, I can see him yet the morning grandfather died by coffee. He had great respect for Tremor. And Jimmy come out, so he come loaded drunk, and he went in, he went blessing the corpse and everything. That's the truth, boy. I can see him yet down in Granny's house. Tremor went in, he was saying mass over him and everything. We were drunk there. That's the truth. When he get drunk, he'd say mass, see? And he went in, he blessed poor old grandfather with coffee, and he blessed him and said mass over him and everything. Oh, he was a comedian, I'm telling you that. But he wasn't at it for fun. He believed he could say mass and bless you and all that. I can see him yet down to my mother's, and he walking in the shower. When father go drink with him, he stand up on a chair and say mass. His 2 hands out like that. Oh, he was a skeet, but he wasn't stunned. He was intelligent. He was. Wherever he had school and wherever he come from. But his people in Little Barasway, they were also intelligent. Tommy and Benny and all them, they could talk about anything. And I don't think they ever went to school. He was into for a while. They weren't stunned, I can tell you that.
And he lived over this direction?
Little Barasway.
Which we many miles from here, Robert?
But I suppose there's 8 or 10 miles from here.
And you said he used to walk
the whole way out the shore.
He'd walk down to St.
Bride's with the bag on his back.
How far would that be from here?
Well, I suppose it is 10 mile, boy. 10 or 12 mile, but then you think he'd walk back to Little Barasway. He'd leave in the morning, by the time he gets St. Bride's then he'd be drunk, the meat would be all gone.
And he grew vegetables?
Yes. He wasn't a fisherman. Oh, yes. He was a survivor. His woman was a school teacher. Liza. I remember, so we scolded her.
And when you say he was a survivor, do you mean that he? What do you mean by that?
mean that he didn't have to go away to work, and he survived around here, at the country, and the beautiful stuff that he got her up and sold, and he was sold. I remember one evening, me and Gordon were coming from the Zinch, we were young, but I had a 61 shave, and Gordon said to me, "We'll go and get Tramore a drink." And when he see the car pulling in, he come down, and he forgot himself for a minute, see, and we didn't offer him anything. We knew what we were doing. He put his hands in through the window like that. He said, "Some more," he said. "It's only fit for a beer." He was waiting for a beer, see. Some more. We gave him a beer and talked away. Oh, they were so nice, but
When did he pass away?
by God, I don't know about the year, but his daughter died no long to go by. She died about 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah, and Benny died in Little Barasway, by the bridge. Little Barasway, he died. But Tommy was over, and young Jimmy, and could he ever sing young Jimmy? Jesus Christ, used to flow out of him. I don't know where he got the songs to. Yeah.
Did Tremor sing?
No, Tramore didn't sing. He'd go reciting and that kind, and blessing you, and I never heard him sing them. No.
Are all the recitations gone?
Oh yes, I never heard none of his recitations. He had a lot of them. And what he didn't know then, he'd make up corners to be going along, see. He was a comedian, he was. But he was he's what you call a typical Irishman, even though you weren't. You know where I come from, don't you? In that time, 80 years ago. Wherever the Irishman too, he was getting drunk. Well, that's the same as Jimmy.
Did he talk much about Ireland?
Nothing big. Why get him going about the scatter time? Because that time we were only young. We weren't after being around any. See? Oh, we got him going about a dozen times, telling us stories about all the sheep and that. Telling us the hills white with sheep was the truth. Because when I went over twice, I see all the sheep over there. Tramore, that's where he come from. We didn't know it at the time, but he must have told Dave and all of them because that's where they get fish from them.
And when you met him first, was there a difference in the accent? Did you understand him?
Yes. Like yours.
Yeah.
Like yours now. He had a deeper accent than yours.
Yeah.
Although when you called me yesterday, you said you were talking to Pat Brun. You said, Pat Brun. I said to myself, boy, geez, the Irish is in you yet.
You had a lovely saying there yesterday for me. You were mentioning Tremor wasn't a hard ticket. It was what was that?
Hard rooster. Oh, they said all them sayings come from Ireland. Yeah, right, a hard rooster. Oh yeah. Oh, I got a book over with all the sayings in it. Did I just write them down?
You write them down?
Oh, I write them down myself. Just the sayings in case they be gone. Yeah.
Would you show them to me?
Yes. I'll show them to you. But you're not getting them.